Okay, well, Nicola Cairncross here and welcome back to the channel. I just had a very enjoyable conversation with an ex-client of mine. About 4 or 5 years ago, she hired me to put together an entire marketing funnel, including sales pages, landing pages, autoresponders, various products, the website, what else was there? There was all sorts of things going on. And we had a great time putting it all together, but now her life has moved on a bit and she's offering something sort of similar but different enough that she wants a whole new marketing funnel made. And we talked about the various best ways to do that, and I thought that recapping the conversation today might help some of you guys out there who are trying to decide what kind of website you need for your business. Well, what my friend's got is she's got a sort of souped up kind of WordPress website with a Thrive Architect theme, and lots of, you know, lovely landing pages, sales pages, automated systems so that as people opt in, they get offered the next thing in the product series. It all starts with a free thing, of course. As people take her up on that, then they get offered a sort of low price product, then they get offered the next thing, then the next thing, and right up to a high level retreat. But as I say, that's slightly out of date now. She's pivoting slightly, and we need to change it all. So the other thing she's got is she's got a very old-fashioned WordPress website, which she does use occasionally, but it's very old-fashioned looking indeed, and she wants a complete revamp on that. But she doesn't want to lose the old site because it brings quite a lot of quite relevant traffic to her. They generally come to her Facebook group, so she's got a very large and active Facebook group. So what does she really need? Well, I was talking to her about this and I said, what do you want to offer first? Because there's no point in going into a brand new market without testing an offer to see if it resonates with the people that you've got around you, or if you're going to have to try and find a whole new audience. And she said, no, I'm pretty convinced the audience is there, because every time I talk about this thing that I want to offer, which is a series of workshops, I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it's a series of workshops, quite low to medium price, I would think, for this investment. And she's looking for some kind of membership site as well. So what I said was, well, the thing to do is you've got a really quick and dirty way of doing it, which is to knock up a short sales page on your existing website and either use a PayPal subscription button. It's going to be a membership, as I say, a PayPal subscription button, and on the other side of that you can just have a new Facebook group for your new paying members, and you deliver everything in there. Facebook isn't massively keen on the idea of using their groups for paid membership sites, but it could be done just to test the whole offer and to do it on a, you know, a real budget way. The other thing she could do, if she wanted to go a little bit more sophisticated than that, would be for me to use my new favourite thing, card.co, which is CARRD.co, which is a way of getting a really gorgeous landing page set up in not very much time at all, because you don't have to worry about any of the tech. It's all hosted for you. You can use your own domain name, and it is very sexy looking indeed. And for $19 a year, you can really experiment with quite a lot of different pages to see which ones work for you. And so you can also get a thank you page, which is the page that tells them that their instructions to join the new group will be following by email. And the other thing that enables you to do if you've got a thank you page is to test your traffic. So if she was going to indulge in a little bit of paid advertising, then she would be able to put a Facebook, Google, Twitter, etc. pixel on the thank you page, and she would be able to tell which of her adverts in the paid traffic that I could set up for her was going to convert to sales. To opt-ins first, obviously you never send anyone straight to a sales page, you send someone to an opt-in page for something free but of high perceived value, and then it's only once someone's opted in for that do you then offer them the item you actually want to sell them. And that way you don't waste money on sending people to a sales page who aren't ready yet. And obviously there would be a series of follow-up emails offering things like free webinars and that in between, because you've got to build a relationship with people before you could expect to sell anyone anything. So that's her option so far, is to knock up a quick and dirty page on her existing website with a PayPal button, or indeed she uses Thrive Cart, which is attached to Stripe, so we could set up a subscription membership in there, or to use a card sales page and thank you page, which would mean that if people wandered off her page, her opt-in page or her sales page, they wouldn't end up on a site that looks like it's come from 1975. A little bit what her website looks like at the moment. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying that, and you don't know who it is anyway, so The other thing we could do is you could spend the next 3 months setting up a completely revamped site. I'm only saying 3 months, it could be done in a month, but we're looking to do it within my wpexpertuk.com service, which has got a higher level of 5 hours a month, amends and things which could be used for a redesign, but it would take a bit longer. And I said, actually, I'll tell you what, you could actually sign up for that service and you could buy some extra credits to get the job done fast in the first month. And it probably would take me 2 to 3 weeks maximum. But to get a sales page up with a buy button, which is the best way of testing anything, that would probably just take me under a week. And she's got to write the content, of course, because I'm pretty good at copy, but I'm not good at copy in a niche that I know nothing about. So I wouldn't want to fake it till I make it on that one, that's for sure. So she's got various options and it's all a sort of balancing act really. And I did talk to her about membership sites as well. And actually my firmest recommendation at the moment, although she does own Thrive Architect and they do have a membership area, I think my firmest recommendation would be for her to use Thinkific at the moment, because for a very low monthly fee indeed, you can both put training courses in there and you can create a community. I think it's not their very lowest package, I think it's their second package up, enables you to have a Facebook-like community, and it's really very sexy looking. I'm using it for my Clicks and Leads Academy and it looks great. And as I said to her, you don't have to worry about it being kept up to date because they're investing, you know, bucket loads in making it as sexy as possible. And if you want to upgrade to the next level, it ought to hook up with Zapier, so you can get, if someone buys something in your Thrive cart through your Stripe account, you can then bounce them over to Thinkific and they'll either set up or upgrade their membership automatically for you. And that's a really good way of hooking up different bits of software that want to talk to each other but aren't able to do so easily. Zapier, it's a if this then that service, if you know what I mean. And I think there is actually a service called If This Then That, but I've never used that one. I'm most familiar with Zapier. So that's sort of all the technicalities, and then we got down to talking about themes. Now, the thing about Card that I'm so keen on is they've got very, very sexy themes indeed, and they move. They've got a bit of animation about them. So it's a bit like, you know, when you see someone's photograph on Facebook and that moves a bit, it's called a 3D photo, I think. And it's just a little bit of movement and it's just enough to visually to keep your eye a bit interested. And if you look at my wpexpertuk.com site, you'll see that there's quite a lot of movement on that. Things pop in only as you're scrolling down to them. And I find that very intriguing visually indeed. Now, while Thrive Architect is a really sexy suite of smart themes, which means that if you change one thing, like one colour, in one page, it'll ask you if you want to change it across the whole theme, which is really pretty cool. But it doesn't have these sexy animation, sort of slidey movie headline things, pictures and stuff. So that's why I was trying to encourage her to go with a sales page on that initially. Not only is it dirt cheap, it's very quick, but it's awfully sexy looking as well. And I think with sales pages and opt-in pages, a bit of sexiness doesn't go amiss. This video is sponsored by wpexpertuk.com. You run your business, we look after your WordPress site. Basic updates and security patches or full website management, we've got you covered. Available during UK business hours, it's like having an in-house webmaster on your team for a fraction of the cost, a quick message away. Founder Nicola Cairncross has been proudly using WordPress to create the majority of her and her Clicks and Leads clients' websites for over 17 years. We know WordPress inside out. Just visit wpexpertuk.com to find out about our 3 simple price packages. And now, back to the video. Now, all of that could be happening while we're overhauling the old site and getting it up to scratch on some sort of new theme, which we're going to be discussing. I've got quite a thing for clean, simple, pale sites at the moment, although my site, it's hilarious actually, because I went in to Card fully expecting to do a clean, simple site for myself and ended up doing my usual dark grey with orange. But on wpexpertuk.com I have actually managed to go for lots of bright white background with just touches of orange and touches of grey. So hopefully this is a sea change of me going from the sort of dark rock and roll kind of websites over to the light, bright, modern ones. Funny because I really like, you know, the Thinkific sort of theme is quite bright, light, bright and modern. I like that a lot. So it's up to my client now, or my ex-client, who is hopefully about to become a client again, because she said that doing it my way would be much faster. She's confident of that because I use all the same tools she does, and so I'm very fast and skilled at using them. So she'll get more out of me per hour than she would anybody else on a for hire by hour basis. And also, you know, she's had a few quotes to completely renovate her website, and it's coming out quite expensive for her, as would be expected from a proper website design company. But doing it my way, which is focusing on what you need first, getting that up fast, getting the money coming in, getting the opt-ins and the leads coming in so that you can convert those to sales eventually, is obviously the entrepreneur's way of doing things. What's it called? It's called the, there's a special name for it in startup land. What is it called? Oh, there's 3 books about it. Come on, Nicola, you can do it. Oh, the lean startup method. That's what it's called. It's called about doing minimum viable product. That's what, oh, thank God. It was, it's about getting the minimum viable product up and making an offer to your audience, an offer to your potential future market, your potential future customers. And actually those people don't care what your website look like. They don't care if there's a bit of animation, a bit of graphics, and if your pictures slide from left to right or up to down. They don't care about any of that. They only care about where your offer. Is your offer going to save them time, money? Is it going to make them happy? Is it going to make them more likely to attract the opposite sex? These are the kind of things that your customers care about. They don't care about your website. So it's a good idea to get the minimum viable product version of your website up, whether it's on Card or WordPress or whatever you've got already, and then just really make the offer. And once the money's rolling in, then you can start to get some help on board, get everything looking like you want it to. I once won a redesign of a website from a really sexy design agency, and I didn't actually realise though the redesign didn't come with setting the whole damn thing up. So what I should have done was gone off onto Upwork and showed a load of techie design people new redesign and got them to build it for me, which would have saved me several £1000s. But no, I thought it had to be done by the company that I'd won the redesign from. So they ended up doing it for me, and they made my entire website. I've got to be careful what I say here. They basically used a load of custom coding, which is the worst possible thing. I absolutely hate it when people do that. It basically means that the person who owns the website can't make any changes themselves because they don't know how the changes were. They don't know how the custom coding works. And not only that, but somehow it ruined my SEO. I went from having a decent amount of traffic, but that killed it stone dead, this new redesign. So that's a bit of a problem as well. Luckily, it's not an issue in this client's case because they are not getting any traffic to speak of anyway, because they're not blogging, they're not adding content. That's the other thing to think about as well, traffic. Are you going to be driving traffic to your website yourself? Are you going to be paying for traffic, or are you going to be working for traffic? Now, you've heard me say this before. If you're not paying for traffic, you're working for it. That means blogging, making videos, podcasting, creating content in some form or another. Now, my client creates her content by video because she's been through my Be Everywhere online training program, and she does her content on video, and that goes onto YouTube. Then she shares it from there onto LinkedIn and Facebook and into her Facebook group. So is she going to be wanting to be blogging? I don't think she will. And is she going to be wanting to be podcasting? I don't think she will, but she might well decide that she does want to a little bit further down the line. So that's the other thing to think about, because it's a lot harder to set up a website that will enable a podcast if you're going to use something like Card, or you could put your podcast on something like Anchor or Substack. But now we're getting into the realms of that bit being over there and that bit being over there and this bit being over here. And you've got, you know, lots of different platforms handling all the different parts of your marketing and selling machine. And the thing with that is it does get very confusing and fractured feeling. Whereas WordPress, with a good theme on a WordPress website, you can run your podcast from there. You can run your blog from there, and the search engines, you can embed video in there. You can set it up properly for SEO, and the search engines will absolutely love it. Whereas if you put it on all the different other places, then those places will get the benefit of your content from an SEO point of view, which is all right as long as you don't want that traffic to come to your website, in which case it won't. Those sites have got a much more higher weighting with the search engines than your site will have. So even if you duplicate a blog post on Substack and on your blog, you should always put it on your blog first, by the way, because then the search engine benefit will accrue to your blog rather than to Substack. So yes, that's actually something perhaps you might want to think about right at the beginning before you get into this conversation about which bits are going to go where and which themes are you going to use, and are you going to use a self-hosted WordPress, or are you going to use Card, or are you going to use something like that, like Squarespace, for example. So think about who your audience is, and most importantly, where you're going to get in front of them, how you're going to test your offers, how you're going to do the minimum viable product when it comes to websites and sales pages and thank you pages and membership site areas. And then think about how best you can put it all together. And do you need a different kind of techie for each part? Or do you want to find someone like me who's had experience of 25 plus years being online and 17 years of those being using WordPress, and who's used pretty much every email list host there is, including Infusionsoft for my sins, and also, you know, who knows every social media platform inside out. Anyway, those are the things to think about. If I've given you pause for thought and you've got any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments below. I absolutely love having these conversations, so if you wanted to book in to talk to me about your particular situation, I'm not going to try and sell you on my service, because you can look at wpexpertuk.com for that, and it's pretty clear cut over there, and you can ask me any questions if you want to just by hitting the envelope on the website there. I hope this has helped. It feels a bit meandering, but it'll probably sound better once it's been thoroughly, brutally edited, as always, and I'll see you very soon.